Good afternoon, 8th graders, and happy Tuesday. We just have time for a quick review today before you take your first checkpoint of the year. I'm really excited to see how you do because I know you're going to do a great job. Let's jump right into our do now. For number 1, do those two images show a translation, a reflection, or a rotation? Well, I can see that the shape has rotated 180 degrees, either counterclockwise or clockwise, so that is a rotation. Number 2, does that show a translation, a reflection, or a rotation? Well, if I drew a vertical line down between the shapes, I can see that that's a reflection across a vertical line. And number 3, does that show a rotation, translation, or reflection? That's a translation. The shape is still in the exact same direction. Now let's look at another skill. Let's talk about vertical angles. Look at number 4. Find the unknown angles. The measure of angle 1 is 102 degrees. Which angle do we already know is equivalent to angle 1? Angle 3 is equivalent to angle 1 because the two are vertical angles. Now solve for angle 2 and 4. I know that angle 1 and angle 2 are on a straight line, so I can subtract 180 minus 102 to find that angle. What's 180 minus 102? Well, 10 minus 2 is 8, and 7 minus 0 is 7. Angle 2 is 78 degrees. If angle 2 is 78 degrees, what's angle 4? Angle 4 is also 78 degrees because the two are vertical angles. Now look at number 5. Solve for all of the missing angles. Angle 4 is 46 degrees. What are the other three angles? I can see that angle 2 is also 46 degrees because those two are vertical angles. I can subtract 180 minus 46 to find that angles 1 and 3 are equal to 134 degrees. Let's do one last example. Number 6. If angle 3 is 51 degrees, what are the three missing angles? Go ahead and find those now. I know that angle 1 is also 51 degrees because angles 1 and 3 are vertical angles. I can subtract 180 minus 51 to find that angles 2 and 4 are 129 degrees. Let's look at our last do now problem. Write the ordered pair for each point. What is the ordered pair for point N? Well, point N is at 2, 4. X coordinate first, Y coordinate second. What's the ordered pair for point K? Point K is at 3, negative 4. What's the ordered pair for point Y? Point Y is on the y-axis, so the x-coordinate is 0, and the y-coordinate is negative 4. What's the ordered pair for point G? Point G is on the x-axis. The x-coordinate is 4, and the y-coordinate is 0. What's the ordered pair for point S? Point S is at 0, negative 6. Today on your checkpoint, you'll have the opportunity to look at all of the transformations that we've been talking about. Let's start by doing some translations. Translate point A 3 units to the left. Once you're done, enter the ordered pairs of A' into the boxes. The image of point A in this case is at negative 2, 3. Now do the second one. Translate 1 unit right and 4 units down. What are the new coordinates of A'? Here, A' would be at 2, negative 1. Let's do one more. Translate 2 units left and 1 unit up. What are the new coordinates of A'? Now A' is at negative 1, 4. We also worked on reflecting points. Reflect A across the y-axis. If I reflect A across the y-axis, which quadrant will it end up in? Remember that my quadrants make a C shape around the grid. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I reflect A across the y-axis, which quadrant will it end up in? It will end up in quadrant 2. Draw the reflection of A across the y-axis and enter the new ordered pair into the boxes. The reflection of A across the y-axis ends up at -1, 3. Now let's reflect A across the x-axis. Which quadrant will A end up in? A will end up in quadrant 4. Draw the reflection of A across the x-axis, then enter the new coordinates in the boxes. The reflection of A across the x-axis is at 1, -3. We also worked on rotations. Rotate A 90 degrees clockwise. Remember, that means 1/4 turn or 1 quadrant clockwise. Which quadrant will A end up in? A will end up in quadrant 4. Now, go ahead and rotate A 90 degrees clockwise and enter the new ordered pair into the box. A will end up at 3, -1. Let's try 3 more. Rotate A 90 degrees counterclockwise. When I rotate A 90 degrees counterclockwise, which quadrant will it end up in? It will end up in quadrant 2. Go ahead and rotate A 90 degrees counterclockwise. A ends up at -3, 1. Rotate 180 degrees clockwise. If I rotate A 180 degrees clockwise, which quadrant will it end up in? It will end up in quadrant 3 because it's making 2 quarter turns. Go ahead and rotate A 180 degrees clockwise and write the new ordered pair in the boxes. The new ordered pair for A is -1, -3. Now, on our final example, rotate A 270 degrees counterclockwise. Which quadrant will it end up in? A will end up in quadrant 4. Go ahead and make that rotation now. Enter the new ordered pair for A' in the boxes. A' is at 3, -1. You've done a great job on this video. There are 3 IXL practices that you can try before you take your checkpoint. Those practices are P.3, P.5, and P.7. If it's not yet time to take your checkpoint, go ahead and get on one of those 3 IXL skills. Good luck on your checkpoint. I know you'll do a great job.